Welcome back to another video, another EP certified classic. Today we are doing something spectacular. As a famous person once said, here's trouble, make it double.
Today, we're taking a deep dive. Sequels have been around forever, right? We've had such bangers in the past, such as Spider-Man 2.
Oh, certified hood classic.
Yeah, maybe some stinkers like Surf's Up 2.
Something big is coming to Pengu Island.
Never give up on being awesome.
Gnarly.
Or, then you have the ones that won off and they decided to never renew it. World War II.
No.
Movies nowadays are expensive to make, and they typically make money or they don't. For those that were successful enough to make money, whether
Right.
good or bad, get sequels.
And unfortunately, we live in a time where even plenty of writers or directors or even actors said that we live in a time right now that if you don't have an IP, intellectual property, it's hard for you to make original movies or even sequels. People are more so glued and kind of drawn to the MCU slop fest that we're getting, or something that's already an established franchise compared to, saying or watching your local, indie film or something new that may have the potential to, escalate into something else.
And that's why today we're going to touch on a few sequels.
Are they good? Have you forgotten about them? Maybe there'll be some that you don't even remember on this list. But before we do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, folks. We want to get to at least 100 subscribers by the end of the year.
At 100 subscribers, I'll put him over the desk and spank him.
Oh!
What makes a good sequel? This question can be asked. Is it just going to be an enjoyable movie? Does it take what the first one built and just build more upon it? Or is it genre switcher?
A common little marker that these certain sequels that I'm going to list hit is that the sequel does world expansion. They build onto the world that's already established in the first one and add to it. I think that's a really good element that certain good sequels have. So for the first movie, I would say this is one of the few movies that I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring and say that this is better than the first one, than the original. Straight out the gate, we're starting strong with Shrek 2. A perfect
Somebody
sequel.
wants.
No. Like I was saying, it adds to the world. We already know that in the beginning that Shrek is obviously has like so many characters of like classic children's, story. They're in it. But now we expand it by going to Far, Far Away, the kingdom of Far, Far Away. Basically, the movie is that Shrek and Fiona are in their honeymoon. They're happy, and then mom and dad, which is like Fiona's parents, show up saying, "Hey, we want you to come home. We want to meet your husband." Big twist. They didn't realize that they're ogres. Yuck!
Also, I don't know if you knew this about Shrek 2. Shrek's an ogre.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I would have been so dumbfounded had you not told me.
Something they carry over from the first movie that I think builds upon in the sequel.
Another thing that sequels do that sometimes could be a blessing or a curse. Sometimes we can get, Antonio Banderas, or sometimes we can get an Awkwafina. Adding new characters. I think Shrek 2 does
Good point.
an amazing decision with adding Antonio Banderas. Puss in Boots.
Which is basically his Zorro character.
Yeah, essentially. But like, even now we see kind of how it's not as big as Shrek, but Puss in Boots became its own thing. I mean, we have the regular animated movie with like Zach Galifianakis as Humpty Dumpty. And then we got the crazy animated movie of The Last Wish that people really liked. And like, what was it, like a year and a half ago? People were like
not too long ago,
memeing on about like the death whistle and everything. So I think in terms of sequels, that one is the sense of that one. If we have to do like a Mount Rushmore, I think that one is pinnacle of hey, amazing, perfect sequels.
Oh yeah. In Shrek 1, it's kind of set up where he doesn't look at himself as someone that's lovable, or even can be likable, or someone that gets along well with people. I think Shrek 2 kind of handles more of that. I actually don't know what Shrek 2 handles.
It juggles the whole thing of like, hey, I guess it's more so loving your partner and yourself for who you are.
Yeah. Definitely builds upon. I would say not unnecessary, because Shrek 1 was a good movie. It
was a critical success.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of just those early animated movies, which kind of didn't have their like feet settled yet, where they kind of had a low budget. Animation wasn't amazing.
Robots.
To carry over from Shrek, I would say another good sequel is obviously Toy Story 2. They're both being animated and stuff, but you expand on the world. You add a new element, a new threat. You add something that's like, how are they gonna navigate now with what they've learned in the first movie and who they are now at that point? How do they handle the challenge in front of them, right?
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
So when
That's what pisses me off about Toy Story 4. But we'll get there in a
That's a
different
good
video.
movie.
We'll get there in a different video. It also does a really good thing that most people kind of, well, not really. It didn't fly over people's heads, but it does a classic subversion of you think that, and to a degree, he is the bad guy, the chicken guy. You think he's the chicken guy. But kind of almost in the third act, you find out that the prospector is the actual bad guy. That
spoilers. It's just in case you never seen Toy Story 2.
Stop right now. If you haven't seen Toy Story 2, click off right now. Next one on the list is Wonder Woman 84. To a degree, it's a little bit of leniency because it was obviously in the pandemic. So it was tough. We get it. Straight to streaming services. It was one of the movies that kind of almost jumped on that wagon of, hey, we're just shipping it straight to streaming services. But the plot of it is a little ridiculous. I think the best part of that movie is the beginning where she saves those people in the museum. Or does that even happen there, or does that happen in
that might be the first one.
or is that Justice League?
That might be Justice League.
Might be Justice League. So no, oh yeah, it is, because the first one she stops people at a mall.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it. Yeah.
So never mind. I don't really have much things to say.
Doesn't it start even before that? She's a kid and she does like the trials.
Oh, you're right. She does the trials and she cheats, and her mom or whatever is like, you can't be doing that. And she's like, well, I did it. I'm a Amazon princess, you know? I think that movie does juggle a lot in the sense that it's not a crazy story. This is right off the heels of Justice League.
Yeah.
So you really could have taken her or taken that character anywhere. I know the first one we touched on, which very lightly, like Ares. It was the God of War. Pretty cool concept. You know, I kind of wish they would have more dealt with that and maybe even do Wonder Woman / storyline with the Greek gods. Instead, we got a quirky sitcom episode, but made into a movie, where the lonely, nerdy girl at the office turns into a cheetah, which is, Wonder Woman's like really big rival. And then we get, I really forget that he is. We get Pedro Pascal as Max, and we get the iconic, classic, low delivery of
Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger. I need you to give me the stone.
Wonder Woman fights Cheetah. It is, I've said this before, it's DC slop. It's DC CGI, I feel like, and it's obviously dimmed down. So it just felt a little underwhelming, especially because when I first saw the first Wonder Woman, it wasn't bad. It wasn't
pretty good
bad.
movie.
The heart that this movie barely has. Chris Pine comes back.
He does, in a really weird way. I could be wrong, and Wonder Woman fans can kill me for this. I don't care. I think she's in a street or something, or she's just looking at, she has the thing, she looks at a random guy and basically like wishes that was him, or I don't know.
Right.
And he takes over a guy's body, so RIP to him, he's dead now. But
it's like, ah!
So Chris Pine's back.
He's like in the sucking place.
I think by the end of the movie, he kind of like, she has to like learn to let go, right? Or something like that.
I think it does that, and she's like, oh, I'm letting you go because I'm getting weaker while you're still here. And then I think she lets go, and the guy just does.
Pedro Pascal's performance, I think, is garbage.
Very like, ugh.
Yeah, the whole MacGuffin of like, I have a wishing stone and I'm gonna wish for everything. I don't know, it's boring, it's ass. If we're touching on sequels and why sequels, or how you make a good sequel, this is probably a good example of how not to make a good sequel.
No, definitely.
What are you adding to the character of Diana?
The little leniency that I gave it of like the heart of 84 is, the relationship with Gal Gadot and Chris Pine.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84, I don't think does anything to expand the character, and it kind of stinks. And which leads me to my next movie, Joker 2. And this can't even be a standpoint of like, they just wanted to do it to make quick money, because this movie made no money. I don't know what the goal was from the jump. Was it like, we want to do a sequel that subverts expectations? Like, you're not gonna believe it, it's a musical. Like I said before, there are sequels that take the genre in different places. If you're gonna do a musical, make a good one. Hire people that know how to do musicals. What did you learn about Arthur Fleck? I don't want to be the Joker. That is fine, but you can handle it way better than what was shown on screen.
And we're not upset that they did the musical thing. More power to them. If they're switching from genres or how they do it, that's totally okay. I think it's just overall how the execution went.
For sure.
But it's just one of those movies that I don't think is going to stand the test of time.
Hell no.
I think it seems like one of those movies that is a little bit performative to a degree if you like them. But stating the facts, the fact that Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga acted and did the best that they could, no, definitely respects on that aspect. It's just the same thing of, you know, it sucks that you kind of got this really weird script and you had to do what you had to do. I mean, that was their vision of Folie à Deux. I don't know if Todd Phillips really for sure wanted this version. I mean, I think by now everyone kind of swept that movie under the rug.
Yeah, it's forgotten.
It's over. It's fine.
That's why I didn't know to include it in forgotten like sequels or unnecessary, which I think it falls into that for sure. But I think this is just a bad sequel. This is just a bad movie, bad sequel. There's nothing really redeeming. Like you said, I think the only redeeming things obviously are Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix's performance. They are good actors.
That's it, yeah. You know, back in the day when you would have cable and you'd be flipping through channels and a movie comes on that you've already seen and like, okay, well,
I'll just leave it on.
I may well stick around for this. I think for Joker Folie à Deux, I think I would just maybe watch like 2 or 3 minutes of it and be like, okay, I know exactly where they're at. I'm good. This is too long for me. I'll switch to maybe something else.
Maybe like a certain, like, because the movie's shot competently. It's nice. It's a good looking movie. But maybe that hooks you for a little bit, but then you're just like watching, you're like, why are you breaking down the song right now? Why is right now the time you're choosing to break out in the song? It doesn't make sense.
The realest part of that movie is when, you know, Arthur Fleck tells Lady Gaga, I'm like, no, stop singing. Stop singing. Because at that point it's like, well, let's wrap it up, people, you know.
And you know what's crazy? Like, maybe people disagree with me on this. I don't know if you disagree or not. I don't think that's a bad idea for them to break out into song because they're kind of fucked in the head.
Yeah, it's not a completely bad idea.
And they go into imaginary land where they just fucking imagine each other getting married and doing all this. That's pretty cool. I think that works for these characters.
To this day, the first Joker, perfect. I think
it's
pretty good. They should just keep it like that. Boom. Don't really include Folie à Deux.
So if we had a Venn diagram, this would fall into like bad and unnecessary. Like this is just
a little bit of both.
Yeah, just a little bit of both. Just not good.
Moving on to forgettable/bad movies.
Yeah.
As we talked about Disney and Pixar in the early 90s where they were doing a lot of stuff. Sometimes they weren't all hitters. However, they did something that was known as straight to DVD sequels. So with this, we're talking Tarzan 2. Did y'all know that there was a Tarzan 2? A lot of people didn't know. We get Mulan 2, Aladdin 2, The Return of Jafar. Don't know how he's back, but somehow Palpatine has returned, folks. It's crazy that these big IPs have sequels, but they're not as recognizable or like people don't remember them, such as like The Incredibles 2, Frozen 2, the new one, the most latest new one, Zootopia 2. It's a really tricky part of sequels, I guess in this particular sense, because it's such a big company, and I think it was at the point where, because I've heard multiple things that maybe they didn't have enough money to push these movies out to movie theaters, so they were just like, well, fuck it, we have this and we paid these people already, so let's just push this out.
Those movies I feel like came out now where Disney's more established and more successful. I think they would work just because of how people consume slop nowadays. I feel like those sequels might do better now than they did in the 90s. I'm gonna throw in some quick bangers for you. Ready? Some quick shooters of unforgettable/unnecessary sequels. Here we go. Anything after Jurassic Park 1. Anything after Indiana Jones and the Temple of Skull or / Last Crusade, depending on what you want. Temple of Skull, Temple of Doom. Damn. Anything after Fast and Furious 5.
Okay, that's valid.
This is just out of, I feel like this was unnecessary. And that is the Star Wars Disney trilogy.
You're saying that that you hate it or that it's unforgettable?
No, it's unforgettable or it's forgettable. I think I just think they're more unnecessary than forgettable. I think those movies are just did not need to happen.
If we are looking at it through a realistic standpoint, I don't think that it needed to happen. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did get The Mandalorian. I'm glad we did get Solo movie. Kinda cool. I guess my Star Wars hot take is that Rogue One is just very okay. Fucking hate Saw Gerrera. Every time he shows up, it's just always bad news with that fucking guy. Always bad news.
We definitely did get a few cool things out of that trilogy. Like you said, The Mandalorian stuff. But are they good enough to justify that anything Disney has done with Star Wars? I don't think so. I don't think anything Disney has done with Star Wars has been like, holy shit, that's really cool. Just make a good movie. It's not that hard. Yeah, the prequels aren't necessarily great movies, but like they had some heart to them. I think when it comes to Star Wars, with the Ryan Gosling thing, I'm hoping it kind of works because they really need a new story.
It almost seems like that's like Top Gun, but Star Wars. That could be sick.
Could be cool.
As a concept could be really cool.
Could be cool.
Because yes, we already get like aerial scenes, but if it's a movie solely about like a pilot, whether it could be like he was in the Empire or he's in the Rebellion and he's having doubts, whatever.
Exactly.
But there's a movie solely made in the cockpit side or like seeing like crazy shots of them flying
I'm for that.
with the literally me guy.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Making a sequel is
Hard.
You can make it off of a movie that blew up and you're like, I want to capitalize that. I want to make a second one. Let's make money because we're Hollywood. Or you can actually put love and care into it, expand the world that people care about and invest in time into and make an actual good sequel.
Sometimes it's hard to capture that lightning in the bottle again, but as you've seen here today, folks, there have been times where they've managed to do that.
With that all being said, don't be a silly willy.
Don't be a fool, you duh.
If you have any comments that you would like to put in the comment section below about how we're wrong or your thoughts on movie sequels, please do.
We will read all comments.
Yeah, we'll read all few comments.
We'll read all 2 comments.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob.
We would like to thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and even saying, man, these guys are fucking stupid. And unlike many sequels out there, we'll be back
Oh.
better than ever.
Bye.